Well, at least in Malaysia, where we're not so professionalized, we are very tolerant of anyone taking on any labels that they want to. If anyone wants to call themselves a producer, they're perfectly welcome to, I think.
And have you actually met people who really defend that? Because I have, and maybe not necessarily a producer, but for example, something as prestigious or as specific as a curator. It's like, oh, you can only call me one if I've done something, or I am one. You should remember that.
I think, again, in situations in which there is an extremely complex hierarchy involved and a very established institution in which it's very clear that there are certain roles and certain responsibilities that go with certain extremely exact roles, and everyone is a very particular cog in a much, much larger and much more complex machine, then I suppose it's fair enough to make small distinctions between these positions. But in Malaysia, again, where we don't have this kind of degree of professionalization and where it's so very, very normal for people to be wearing multiple hats. So I wear hats as producer, as residency manager, which is, I think, quite different, as critic, which is very different, as lecturer and teacher, which is, again, quite different. And most people in Malaysia who are in the performing arts are doing this. They don't have a single title. So I think we here are quite flexible with that kind of multiple hat wearing, but in other contexts, I could see they might be a little bit more sensitive about this.
So with any job in any role, there comes criticism. What are some that are commonly directed at producers? And if any, have you ever been criticized as a producer?
I think the biggest challenge for many producers is retaining a very trusting and supportive relationship with the artists that you're working with. And if you get out of the show, and despite the fact that the show may have been great and the product was amazing and the audience really liked it and the critics thought it was wow, if you don't still have that respectful, trusting relationship with the artist that you're working with and you've really burned all your bridges, then there's obviously something wrong with the way that you work. And I don't think anyone can say who's done a lot of productions that they are really on great terms with everyone that they've worked with before. But certainly it is the challenge of a producer to try, at least within the remit of the production itself, to try and be as supportive of the creative team as possible. I mean, the comparison that is often used in this context, the classic comparison is, the artist says jump and the producer says how high. The artist says, I want a purple elephant and I want it here tomorrow morning. And the producer, has a quiet little heart attack and goes backstage and finds that purple elephant.